General Manager, Madam Verma, President Salvo, all other dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, we are present here today to observe the World Health Day, which is traditionally being observed on 7th of April every year since 1948, when it was founded at Geneva. And since then, this is the day when we basically dwell upon something, some important health issue which we need to address throughout the year. So this year's theme is hypertension, the silent killer. And I'm going to, over the next 10 minutes, let you know that how hypertension is important for the health scenario in our day-to-day life and across the world, how it has been become a menace to the mankind. The goals of this year's theme has been to, basically there are 4 things like greater awareness, healthy behaviors, improved detection and enabling environments, because all these things would ultimately culminate in the ultimate goal is to reduce heart attacks and strokes, as our medical director has already pointed out. Now, one can ask that because blood pressure, we all know that it is a problem and it is a menace, and so why do we need to talk about this over and over again? Well, there are a few facts which we need to remember, that at the age of 65, even with a normal blood pressure, those persons will have a 90% lifetime risk of developing hypertension, because the population at this moment is the aging, because the average expectancy is around about 80 in various countries. So even if a person at 65 is non-hypertensive, he or she is going to develop hypertension over the next 15 years. The likelihood is very high. Hypertension control reduces excess morbidity and mortality. Beginning with 115/75, if a person has got a blood pressure of this, the cardiovascular death risk doubles for each increment of 20 millimeter mercury in the systolic blood pressure and 10 millimeter mercury in the diastolic blood pressure. 30% of the adults are still unaware of their hypertension, because in many situations hypertension doesn't lead to any symptom. That's why it is called a silent killer. More than 40% of individuals with hypertension are not on treatment, because they feel that as there is no symptom, then I possibly do not need any treatment. 2/3 of the patients on treatment are not controlled to blood pressure levels of less than 140/90. That is what WHO recommendation is. And lastly, hypertensive patients are 2.5 times more likely to develop diabetes within 5 years of detecting hypertension. So these are the few facts which one must remember, and these are the things which we need to reiterate once and once again, so that we kind of address and become aware of what are the problems. As I was saying, that this graph would tell you that at the age of 65, even if a person is not hypertensive, over the next 20 years, from 65 to 85, the men and the women together, they have got a chance, 90% chance of having, risk of hypertension. So, as we are aging population now, so of course men are little more vulnerable than the women, but the chances of getting hypertension is much higher now because of the increasing age of the population. And as I had also said, that the frequency distribution of untreated hypertension by age, you can see here that isolated systolic hypertension, this is the black one, systolic, diastolic, both hypertension, and isolated diastolic hypertension. With a lower age group, less than 40, the chances of isolated systolic hypertension is less, which increases so much so that at the age of around 80, it becomes the major part of the systolic hypertension. That means the systolic blood pressure is much higher than the diastolic blood pressure. So that is the kind of age distribution which occurs in the natural course of the disease. Now let us come to the basic question of what is high blood pressure. I know all of you may have come to know by this time what the definition of WHO is and how one should try to get to that level of blood pressure. But generally 130/80 is usually our target. It is commonly an asymptomatic condition, as I have said. The measurements indicate how strongly blood presses against the arterial walls as it is pumped around the body by the heart. And there are two components of blood pressure, systolic and diastolic. Systolic is the upper one and the diastolic is the lower one. In fact, accurate blood pressure measurement is also very, very important. There are many things. Most of you must be having a blood pressure instrument at your residence or at your office. And time and again you may have actually measured your blood pressure during the course of the day. But these are the few small things which you must keep in mind. And if you actually learn to listen to the heart sounds through the stethoscope, then these points would be very, very beneficial for an accurate measurement of blood pressure. The key facts on the high blood pressure again is that it affects 1 of the 3 adults worldwide, and it affects men more than women, affects poorer population more than others. That's a very interesting fact. I will come to that later. Is implicated in 30% of deaths worldwide. High blood pressure strains the arteries and heart, raising the probability of heart attack, stroke and kidney disease. It is diagnosed if readings on separate occasions consistently show blood pressure more than 140 by 90, and it is identified as the world's most prevalent preventable disease in WHO's Health 2020 policy. Now, this hypertension has got a huge global burden because it is one of the most important causes of premature death worldwide, killing nearly 9.4 million people every year. So that is a huge burden, and not only in the Western world, in the Southeast Asia region also, 36% of adults have hypertension, and high blood pressure is the leading risk factor for death, claiming 1.5 million lives each year in this region. As I was saying, that the prevalence of raised blood pressure in the low, lower middle and upper middle income countries is higher, about 40%, than the high income countries. Possibly those privileged countries have got higher strong public health policies, multi-sectoral preventive action and widely available diagnosis and treatment. Possibly these are the reasons that there is a small difference but significant difference in that particular percentage. In India, the raised blood pressure increased from 5% in the 1960s to 12% in the 90s, and in 2008 it is about 30%. So India is not lagging behind. Aging population, rapid urbanization and transition from agrarian life to a wage-earning modern city life are reported as major contributors to increased blood pressure in urban areas. So that possibly we all know by this time, can't do much about it. As I was saying, this is the global burden. You can see this is for the females, 25 plus females at 2008. This is systolic blood pressure, and you can see here the more than 130 is this. So most of the African countries are suffering from this particular segment. You can see here, these are the females, aged more than 25. When you see the picture for the males, it is different. Now most of the Europe has been affected now. This more than 130 systolic blood pressure. So along with Africa, most of the Europe, India is quite well off, even with the females as well as with the males. So India is, at least at this moment, in 2008, they were pretty well off. So risk factors for high blood pressure, there are a few risk factors we all know which are controllable. When we talk about risk factors, there are controllable and uncontrollable risk factors. These are the controllable risk factors: a diet high in saturated fat, excessive salt consumption, overweight and obesity, a sedentary lifestyle and lack of exercise, excessive alcohol consumption, smoking and unmanaged stress. But there are few uncontrollable risk factors as well. A family history of high blood pressure, being over 65 years of age, as I have already pointed out, and comorbidities such as diabetes. So these possibly you cannot do much about them. The complications of, if you do not treat hypertension, what happens? So there are various things which happen, we all know, on the brain, heart, kidney. Unmanaged stress is something, sir, where there are a few things which you can do to manage your stress, possibly lessen your stress, but there are many things which we know but cannot adopt properly in our day-to-day life. So possibly that could culminate into high blood pressure, because
target-oriented jobs.
Yeah, maybe targets and all those. This is a kind of white collar hypertension as we call them. So that is the major, because the daily wagers, the farmers, they do not have this kind of problem.
I think you need to have a lecture budget how to manage stress.
Yes, sir.
Most of us are
But the giving lectures, sir, would not suffice actually, because practicing those things is, yeah, that's the starting point. Very good, sir. Now, complications, as I was saying, the effects on cardiovascular system, you can see the pictures that chronic hypertension over a period of time, how much thickening it could render the heart muscles. And here the cavity of the heart has become like a hole because of the thickening of the myocardium or the heart muscle has led to this much of thickening, and only a small hole has remained. And this has happened over a period of time. So coronary artery disease, acute myocardial infarction, arrhythmias, they all can be attributed to chronic hypertension. Effects on nervous system, stroke, intracerebral and subarachnoid hemorrhage, cerebral atrophy and dementia. These also, dementia is a major problem now all over the world, and that has been attributed to chronic hypertension also. Effects on the kidneys, glomerular sclerosis leading to impaired kidney function, and finally end-stage kidney disease. Ischemic kidney disease, especially when renal artery stenosis is the cause of hypertension. And lastly, effects on the eyes. There are many kinds of problems like retinopathy, retinal hemorrhage, impaired vision, vitreous hemorrhage, retinal detachment, and so on and so forth. So you can see that there are many complications if you keep the blood pressure untreated. So how do you manage your blood pressure? As I was suggesting, there are many lifestyle modifications you can do: eating a healthy diet, reducing salt intake, exercising regularly, stopping smoking, reducing alcohol consumption, managing stress, and of course having regular blood pressure checks. Because that is another thing which we seldom neglect, because we always think that as there is no symptom, they only come to us when there is some reeling of the head, or there is some headache, or some pain in the neck or something like that. Otherwise people think that my blood pressure is fine. So benefits of treatment is the reduction in the stroke incidence averaging 35 to 40%, reduction in myocardial infarction or cardiac stroke averaging 20 to 25%, and reductions in heart failure averaging more than 50%. So at least these three menacing complications of hypertension can be avoided if we correct our blood pressure. These are the few lifestyle modifications which we always advocate. As sir was saying, you can see here, sir, that even moderation of alcohol consumption can lead to a reduction of systolic blood pressure by about 2 to 4 millimeter mercury. Not so much as one would have loved to, but weight reduction possibly has got the greatest effect, as it can lead to a systolic blood pressure reduction of 5 to 20 millimeter mercury over a 10 kg weight loss. So if a person loses 10 kgs, then possibly he or she can hope to reduce his or her blood pressure by about 20 millimeter mercury. And adopt a DASH eating plan. DASH is nothing but dietary approaches to stop hypertension. Diet rich in fruits, vegetables, low-fat dairy products with a reduced content of saturated and total fat. Then dietary sodium restriction, physical activity, and moderation of alcohol consumption. These are the few things which one can try to achieve. Now WHO has responded to this problem, and every year they have come out with a different area of focus, and this year the focus is, as I have said, on hypertension. It identifies high blood pressure as a major contributor to disease, and hypertension as the world's most prevalent preventable disease. High blood pressure is the theme of World Health Day 2013, with a particular emphasis on reducing dietary salt intake. Our usual dietary salt intake should not exceed 6 gram of sodium chloride, and that 6 gram will be contained in 1 teaspoon. So that is in everything, I mean, all taken together during cooking, as an extra salt, during your fried food, during your fast food, everything taken all together. 6 gram is or 5 gram is the limit in some books it is 5 grams, somewhere it is 6 grams, but it is usually 1 teaspoon. So there are few take-home messages as usual, and high blood pressure is a silent killer with no warning symptoms. Early detection and management of high blood pressure can help in reducing the risk of heart attack, heart failure, stroke and kidney failure. All adults should check their blood pressure and know their blood pressure levels. Kind of booklet should be carried by each and every individual. When medicines are prescribed to control blood pressure in addition to lifestyle changes, it is imperative that you take your medicines regularly. Each year, high blood pressure kills nearly 1.5 million people in this region, that is Southeast Asia. And cost-effective policy interventions such as eating a healthy diet, increasing physical activity, stopping tobacco use, and reducing harmful alcohol use need to be adopted. So these things we all know, we try to practice, but I mean, it's something which we really have to ponder whether how far we have been successful and how far we ourselves have been successful and have been successful to make others kind of adopt these things. Now, when we talk about these things on 7th April every year, there are many issues. So when we say these things, possibly a week or a month, we discuss and then we forget, and then ultimately nothing happens. We go on in the similar fashion. So these kind of seminars, awareness programs should be held throughout the year and at different forums where normal lay people are there, our staff and our other people are there, so that we can put the message across that hypertension and blood pressure is important and we should measure them at a regular interval and keep that record with us, so that in future when there is some problem, some kind of baseline record is available, so that the physician would be able to treat the condition in a much effective way. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patient hearing.